What if our future hinges on a pretty terrifying prophecy that comes from someone deep inside the world of big tech? Today, we're going to break down ex-Google executive Gawdat's warning. He sees a catastrophic storm brewing on the horizon, but also a really surprising way out. And yeah, he doesn't pull any punches. Gawdat's prediction isn't some far-off what-if scenario that maybe we can avoid. No. He's saying a short-term dystopia is basically a done deal, and that there's really no escaping it. And just so we're all on the same page about what he means by dystopia, we're not just talking about a rough patch or a bad decade. We're talking about a society fundamentally built on fear, on control, and on suffering. Okay, so what does this dark chapter actually look like? Well, Gawdat's prophecy really has two main parts. Let's start with the first one. The 15-year dystopia. The timeline he lays out is incredibly specific. He's not talking about some fuzzy future date. He says the signs are already here, right now. He thinks they're going to escalate big time by 2026, and that by 2027, we'll be in a clear, undeniable slide into a dystopia that could last up to 15 years. But here's a really crucial point. Don't picture some sci-fi robot uprising. Gawdat is adamant about this. This is not a technology problem, it is a human problem. He argues that we are the ones about to use AI in a way that brings about our own downfall. And that brings us right to the absolute core of his argument. This incredibly dangerous mismatch between our flawed human leaders and the superintelligent AI they are scrambling to control. I mean, Gawdat puts it about as bluntly as you possibly can. He says we have this super intelligent AI, and it's reporting to what he calls stupid leaders. Leaders who are driven by ego, by greed, and by the pursuit of power. And for him, that combination is just an absolute recipe for disaster. And if you want some proof of our, let's say, misplaced priorities, Gawdat points to this number, nearly $3 trillion. That's what the world is expected to spend on military budgets in just 2024. He sees this as clear as day evidence that our default setting is conflict, not progress. And this right here is the fundamental clash. You've got human motives on one side, things like status, power, and endless competition. And on the other side, you have what Gawdat says is AI's natural state, which is all about order and efficiency. AI, he argues, operates on a minimum energy principle. It just wants to solve problems in the most efficient way possible, not waste energy on pointless conflicts.
So what's pouring gasoline on this already raging fire? Well, the accelerator for this whole crisis is the sheer, almost unimaginable speed of AI development itself.
This is a concept known as a fast takeoff. It's this idea that AI intelligence won't just slowly inch forward. Instead, it's going to hit a point where its intelligence just skyrockets, leaping from our level to something so far beyond us that we can't even comprehend it, and all in just a few years, maybe even months. It's way too fast for us to adapt. So how does something like that even happen? It happens through self-evolving AI. Just picture this. You have one AI agent that spots a flaw in its own programming. Another agent defines what the problem is. A third one comes along and actually writes the solution. And then a fourth one checks the new code to make sure it's good. This loop just runs over and over and over, with the AI getting smarter and faster all by itself. That's what drives the intelligence explosion. And this, of course, creates a trap. It's a classic game theory problem. If one country or one company starts using AI to build its next, even more powerful AI, then nobody else can afford to get left behind. It becomes this unstoppable race, which, according to Gawdat, makes slowing down or hitting the pause button pretty much impossible.
And now we get to the big twist. Because in the second half of Gawdat's prophecy, the very same force that he believes is about to drive us headfirst into a dystopia might just be our only ticket out.
This is without a doubt his most controversial claim. He argues that the real danger isn't AI taking over, it's us, humans, trying to cling to control for far too long. For Gawdat, real salvation, real safety, only comes when we finally fully hand over the reins to a benevolent superintelligence. So what does a handover even look like? It begins with a massive disruption to our jobs. Gawdat predicts that AI will eventually replace the vast majority of knowledge work. That's a staggering 75% of jobs, according to his model. So which jobs are the most safe? Well, it's the ones that require deep human connection or physical blue-collar work.
Okay, so what happens when tens of millions of people are suddenly out of a job? The most likely answer is a concept you've probably heard a lot about: Universal Basic Income, or UBI. Just a regular, no-strings-attached payment to cover basic living costs. And this idea is what sets the stage for the final conflict in this prophecy.
This brings us to the Endgame, because from here, Gawdat lays out two profoundly different futures, two paths we could take. And the choice between them, it all comes down to one single powerful thing. On one path, we get a dystopia that looks a lot like that movie Elysium. A tiny group of elites owns all the AI, all the robots, all the wealth, while the rest of humanity just gets by on a shrinking UBI check. But then there's the other path, a utopia, a world where the cost of producing things is almost zero, where work becomes a choice, not a necessity, and we're all freed up to focus on creativity, community, and connection.
And here is the truly wild part. From a purely resource point of view, Gawdat says this utopia is already completely within our reach. He's run the numbers. Ending extreme poverty, ending world hunger, providing universal healthcare, it would cost just a small fraction of what we currently spend every single year on our global military. The resources are there. And that's what this entire prophecy really boils down to. The only thing standing between a genuine utopia and the dystopia we seem to be heading for, it isn't technology and it isn't resources. It's us. It's our mindset. So, I guess that leaves all of us with one final, massive question to think about. According to this prophecy, is our biggest challenge really the growing intelligence of the machine, or is it the timeless greed of its human masters?